Today, I'm going to be talking to you about why it is so important to keep going with your story, to persist and to remain faithful to your desire, no matter what the 3D is reflecting to you right now. Now, I've shared my story in my past videos before, but for those of you that are fairly new to my channel, I thought it would be really helpful for you to know what I went through so you can see just what you need to do to get your desire and how to overcome anything that you are currently seeing and experiencing in your 3D reality when it comes to getting your specific person. Before I go into that, hello everyone, I am Natalie and welcome to my channel As the Pennies Drop. If you are new here, please go ahead and click the subscribe button. I am here to guide you all to creating a life that you love, a life that you deserve, and a life that you desire. So if you'd like to find out more about me, my therapy programs, my coaching solutions, manifesting coaching workshops, masterclasses, one-to-one sessions, then click the link below in the description box below this video, or you can just email me at natalie@asthepenniesdrop.com. So let me get into my story. I'm going to keep it brief because I don't really enjoy kind of going over and over and over it, but I know that, you know, it's going to help you. Okay, so this was a few years ago. My specific person and I broke up, and we had been breaking up quite a lot. On this particular time, I didn't really know beforehand about manifesting people back. I didn't know that you could actually do that. But I had understood that you could do that and that you could do that with intentions. So what I did was, when we broke up, which was actually my decision, and then I changed my mind, was that I had a coaching session and I worked out a variety of different intentions that I was basically going to say to myself. I also knew that I was going to take inspired action. Now, I don't always talk about inspired action on my videos, but it is something that I've done because when it felt right for me, I did reach out. I also knew that what was reflecting back to me, whatever response I was getting, was going to be based on an old thought. So for me, even though it was quite painful getting rejected on the telephone time and time again, I felt that was what I had to keep working on. That was a story that I needed to let go of. So I started my journey really going all in with affirmations. It was probably like the end of November in a particular year. And yes, I got my specific person back. Yes, I got him pursuing me. Yes, I got him arranging our first date within 2 months. I did have wobbles as well. I did have days where I was upset. I remember one New Year's Eve, I was just heartbroken. I just felt absolutely heartbroken. It was horrible. So I do feel for all of you that are going through this right now. I really, truly do. It's not a pleasant place to be. So what I did at the end of November, I had a coaching session and I went all in. I went all in on my intentions. I didn't speak to people about what it was that I was doing. If people asked about my specific person, I would say I hadn't heard from him, or I would say, don't want to talk about that. Or I would say, can we change the subject? I would say anything that I could say. So I didn't have to tell people what it was that I was doing, because quite frankly, it's none of their business anyway. So I knew also, or had an assumption that if I did, I would just get a backlash. So again, think about who you speak to about what it is that you're doing carefully, because they will judge, they will give you their opinion, and it may not be wanted. So I went all in on doing my intentions about my specific person. I intend that my specific person misses me. And again, I use intentions because for me, it feels more natural. It feels more natural. So I go into intentions rather than saying I am, I say I intend. You have to find what feels natural for you. Don't force it. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. It's a waste of time. It's not actually a waste of time, but you're going to give up. You'll more than likely give up. So find what feels natural. Intentions feel natural and it works. So I intend that my specific person misses me. I intend that my specific person wants me back. I intend that my specific person still loves me. I intend that my specific person realizes how much they want to be with me. I intend that my specific person prioritizes me. I intend that my specific person reaches out to me and contacts me. I intend. So I would go through a variety of different intentions. And whenever I had a negative thought, which when I started doing this journey of intentions, I didn't know how negative my mindset was. It was awful. And I do hear some people, clients and subscribers saying, oh, how they can't do affirmations because it, they say, oh, it just doesn't work. Well, what happens is, and what they've explained is that their negative mindset takes over. And of course it's going to. That's all you know. That's your natural way of thinking. You're trying to rewire the mind to impress it with different thoughts that it's not used to, and it doesn't want them there. So when I was setting an intention, it felt like for every good intention I was setting, I'd get about 10 or 15 negatives that came in. But I learned how to control that. And in the beginning, it was exhausting. But I also knew, one, I was going to be a success story. Two, I was going to get my specific person back no matter what. No matter what. Within those 2 months, even when I had days where I felt really sad and I cried and mascara down face and everything like that, I never gave up. Never gave up. And that is the difference between somebody that is a success story and somebody that doesn't get the reality that they want. They don't give up no matter what. So I was going all in on my intentions. I would catch the negative thoughts. I'd have like a band around my wrist. I would ping it to shock me out of the negative spiral that I was going to go in. And even if I was having a conversation with somebody, I'd be looping and looping and looping the story of what it was that I was wanting. I was like, no, I'm not having that. I stopped it from allowing any room for it to grow in my mind, you see. So I took the power back of my mind, and all I was doing was I was impressing in my mind what it was that I was wanting to experience. And no, like I said, it wasn't easy to start with, and it was exhausting to start with. That's how I found it. But the more I continued to impress these new thoughts in my mind, the easier it became to remain faithful to that, the less the negative thoughts showed up. Okay, so remember that. Remember that. Make a note of that. The second thing that I did was I did sometimes take inspired action, not often, but sometimes I would. So I think I remember sending an email once. I think I got a response within a few days, and it was not the best response, let's put it that way. I might do the odd telephone call. And when I say the odd telephone call, maybe one in 3 weeks, every 3 weeks or something. So I remember doing that. And I remember that I learned as well not to emotionally react to the 3D reality, because all that my specific person was reflecting back to me was my true dominant belief. So I was learning through him what it was that I needed to revise more of. So the times that he would say, don't know why you're calling, we don't have anything in common, we're not this, we're not this, we're not this, blah, blah, blah. We did have a lot in common, but this was things that he was saying back to me, that we weren't compatible, that we weren't this, that we weren't this. And it was horrible, beyond horrible to hear that. So I feel for you if you're hearing that, but it's just based on your own assumption, your old thought. That's all it is. So when you get that information, yes, have a cry if you need to. That's okay. I did. Then get straight back on it. Get straight back on revising what it is. So if they're saying that they don't want anything to do with you, they don't want to speak to you again, or they even block you, or whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's just based on an old thought. Turn it around. Don't focus on that conversation. Focus on what it is that you're wanting. So they're saying that they don't want anything to do with you. My specific person, or I intend that my specific person can't stop thinking about me. But I'm all they think about all day, every day, that they want me back. Keep affirming that. You affirm the opposite of what it is that's been reflected back to you if what has been reflected back to you is not what it is that you're wanting. So it's a brave thing, a courageous thing to do inspired action sometimes, to be honest, when it comes to the heart. I think that if you want to do it, do it. But inspired action isn't you just going, oh, maybe I'll just message them now. Or maybe I shouldn't Maybe I should. I don't know. No, that's not inspired action. Inspired action is just literally going with it. So you have to be prepared for the outcome. Could be what you want. It may be what you don't want. If it's what you want, great, excellent. You've got more confirmation. Keep going with your intentions. If it's what you don't want, great, revise it. Keep going with your new intentions. Okay, that's how to see it. It's feedback. All of this is feedback on what your mind is doing, how you either need to tweak it or what you need to keep going forwards with. So I stayed with doing my intentions. Occasionally, I would have the odd telephone call. But the more I was doing my intentions, and then I was doing inspired action as well, the more I was seeing him kind of responding. And by around Christmas time, so this is probably a month in, from literally a couple of weeks before him saying, didn't want to speak to me, didn't want anything to do with me. We were on the phone for like maybe an hour at a time, chatting. It was lovely. There wasn't any conversation about, come back to me, do you want me back? Anything like that, nothing. I think I'd asked to see him once and he said, no, that wasn't a good idea. So leading up to Christmas, I think I'd said to him, would you like to see me or would you like to come over? And he was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And that's when I had a real meltdown. I think that was New Year's Eve. And it was really, really tough. So, but I carried on. The next day, just got straight back on the story of what it was that I was wanting. I wasn't going to let it go. And in the meantime, I had to travel with work to America. And again, I carried on with my story. I carried on with what it was that I was wanting to see. That's all I did. And then we started to have a bit more communication, a bit more texting. And then I noticed that he'd started to text me more, actually. And I'd start to see his name coming up on my phone, and it just felt, oh, natural. I'm like, oh, I'll get back to that in a bit. Whereas like a month prior to that, I would have been like, oh my God. So it just started to feel more natural. It started to feel more effortless and easy. It took me a while to get to that effortless stage, but I continued. And then probably 2 weeks into, so we're in mid-January, I think I'd said to him about, look, would you like to meet up? And he said, yes. I think it took him a day to respond. I can't remember, but he said yes. But he said he wasn't ready to be in a relationship. But then I knew that was it. I knew that he just needed to see me and that he wanted me back. And I revised that conversation. I didn't hear that last bit of the conversation. All I heard was he wanted to see me. He wanted me back. That's what my dominant belief was. That's what I remained faithful with. I carried on doing the intentions. I carried on focusing on me, on kind of like living my life, doing my work, things like that. And the more I would get messages from him, and within 2 weeks, he was literally blowing up my phone, pursuing me and arranging our first date back together. So that took 2 months of remaining faithful, diligent and persistent. Yes, I had tears. Yes, it was horrible sometimes, not going to lie. So don't beat yourself up if you have these wobbles. Don't beat yourself up. But what I did, and what I'm going to talk to you about this through this video, is even though, yes, I had tears, I didn't react to the 3D reality. I didn't allow what was happening, what was being said, to stop me. I didn't allow him saying that he didn't want to see me to stop me. I didn't allow him saying that he didn't want me back to stop me. I carried on. So that is my story of how I got my specific person back. So remember, what is showing up in your 3D reality is just based on an assumption, it's based on an odd thought. If you can persist, no matter what is going on out there, and if you can remain faithful, your thoughts will create, and this will work out in your favor. If you can just remain faithful to the story, even if you wobble, don't worry. Just make that decision. Decide, what reality do you want? Do you want a reality with them? Or do you want a reality without them? Do you want a reality of them showing up for you? Or do you want a reality of them giving you breadcrumbs? or one where they can't believe their luck that they're with you and they show up for you every single day and they choose you and prioritize you and love you and adore you. When you are 100% certain with what you want, the world has to conform. Your outer reality has to conform. It's that simple. And what I have learned actually since then, which would have made things so much easier for me now, is that if you're in a place of struggling to let go of what has happened in the past and you're struggling to free yourself from these old backstories, the most liberating thing that you can do for yourself is forgive. Forgive whatever has happened, forgive them, forgive yourself, and just let it go. Let go of those unwanted thoughts about them or about yourself. And the more you can sit with this forgiveness, the easier it is to focus on the story of what you want and how you want the relationship to be, you see. You are literally letting go of that backstory, that old story that does not and never did serve you in the first place. So you're wiping that slate clean. You're starting from a brand new slate. That old relationship is gone. This is how you want this new relationship to be. And the resistance just dissipates. And you really can create from a resistance-free mindset when you do this. So when I was using intentions, I would start the day by writing them down. This is what I did. I would write down a fair few of them, and then I would repeat them in my mind out loud or silently. Whatever I felt that I needed to repeat throughout the day, I would then loop maybe 4 or 5 affirmations to keep those unwanted thoughts at bay. But fundamentally, the loop will be very similar. He wants me back. He can't stop thinking about me and all he's ever wanted, and he still loves me. Something like that. The more I did this, the easier it became. Like I said, I looped probably around 5 or 6 affirmations in my mind. So what is going to create this reality of the desire being yours is how comfortable and how natural and effortless you can make this. And that is why I use intentions, because it's effortless for me to say that in an intention style way. So it's what feels right for you, what feels natural for you. We're all different. So choose what feels right for you. So go with what feels right. So when you start to say your affirmations or your intentions, it will require little effort. But the more you do this, even that little bit of effort will become effortless, and it will become natural, and it will become a part of your day. This will then become a familiar feeling for you. So like I said, you can do affirmations or you can do intentions. You can do them by kind of daydreaming when you've got time throughout the day, by sitting in them in a daydream feeling state. You can do this as though you're telling a story to yourself, like I've just done. You can do this as though you were telling a friend with feeling. These intentions are for you. But like I said, you can change the intention to my, if you want to. You can change them to I am. So I intend my specific person and I are so happy together. I intend that my specific person and I are back together and it's so exciting. I intend that my specific person and I are such an incredible couple. I intend that my specific person tells me every single day that I'm everything he thinks about. I'm all he thinks about. I intend that my specific person has completely changed and he now sees me as the most important person in his life. In fact, he now sees me as somebody that's on that pedestal. He's so different to me now. I intend that my specific person is pursuing me every single day. I intend that my specific person is absolutely head over heels crazy in love with me. I intend that my specific person is so lovingly and kindly obsessed with me. I intend that my specific person chooses me, shows up for me now and goes all in with me. I intend that my specific person prioritizes me every single day. You know, and you can add some self-concept and self-love intentions in there as well. Or if you were telling a friend that, you can imagine, you know, how would you be with your friend if you were telling them that story? How, you know, what would they be asking you? How's it going? What would you say? Oh my God, you know. So trust your new story. Choose what feels the most natural to you. You don't have to be jumping up and down. Just feel what you would feel that's natural for you. And on those days that you feel like you need more, on those more difficult days, rampage or go and do something that you love and just distract yourself. Like I said, you can rampage the story in your mind out loud or in your mind over and over again. So when you think about the desire, when you're thinking about the desire, go straight to that story that's already looping in your mind. So and another thing as well, if I see signs that remind me of my specific person, I'll go straight to the story. You can apply this If you can apply this, it will manifest. It will, no matter what is happening out there. So let me know how you get on, guys. And as always, if you would like more guidance, you know, I offer a variety of coaching solutions, including one-on-one sessions with me. So much love to you all. Take care.